put this on.
Okay, so I'll start with a Mishnah. Then we'll get to the letters. The letters will come within the framework of the class. Mishnah says, Knei lecha chaver. It's a very disturbing Mishnah. You don't buy friends. What does it mean, Knei lecha chaver? So there's a word, Kana lecha chaver, but that's like a word. That's not pshat in the Mishnah. And it's a very famous Mishnah. Knei lecha chaver, aseh lecha rav. These are two major themes that we have in the framework of how we grow. What does it mean, Knei lecha chaver?
It sounds like you have to bribe a chaver.
What exactly? So the question is, what does it mean, Knei lecha chaver? Buying a chaver is obviously not the implication of buying a chaver. It's buying a chaver. So, if you look in the letters of the Frierdiker Rebbe has a beautiful pen. If you talk about pen, right. Frierdiker Rebbe writes in a beautiful way. And he always uses the term Knei lecha chaver. He uses the word Knei, Kinyan. Frierdiker Rebbe always, when he comes to the importance of having a chaver, he uses the word Kinyan. So it's not by accident that the Mishnah uses the term Knei lecha chaver. There is a specific implication. There's an understanding. There's a deep understanding of chaver that has to play out in Kinyan. What does that really mean? To understand this, let's start off with a simple. I'll quote the letters as we go on. It's a collection of letters here. I'll quote it as we go on. So again, just for those that just came in, we're looking to understand. There's a Mishnah, and we'll see how this Mishnah is going to eventually help us understand a Perek of Tanya. So the Mishnah says Knei lecha chaver, and the question we have is, why do we use the term Knei lecha chaver? Kinyan is not a word you use. I bought a chaver. So if you ask a child, what's a chaver? I'll get to an adult too. Most people will tell you, what's a chaver? If you ask a child, they're very honest. They tell it to you straight in your face. Chaver is someone who does something that I like.
Yeah.
They play with me. They're nice to me.
They give me snacks.
There's always something with me. Give me a snack. They play my game. It's always a me. There's always going to be something of how basically the chaver is my toy. Basically. That's essentially what the child is saying, the chaver is my toy. Obviously, that's not a chaver. It's not a chaver. Chaver is not a gift that's an extension of yourself. He's not there, or she's not there to play your tune. That's not what a chaver is.
Could a chaver be somebody who's interested, genuine?
So let's get
welfare?
there. What does it mean, genuine? What is it? So let's go to the dargis and how chaverim play out. First, it's not just a child. This is the first way how people think of chaver. Chaver is there for me, right. And this morning. So a child says it honestly, and we don't say it, but we think it sometimes.
Right.
So if you ask someone a little bit, so what's taka chaver? So a deeper explanation you'll hear is a chaver feels your pain. Chaver feels your pain. A good chaver feels your pain. Person's in pain. Chaver feels the pain. It's beautiful. It's taka a beautiful thing. It doesn't happen automatically. This is already a deeper connection. But if we think about it, there are many people who we travel to their levayas, but we're not there for their simchas. Feeling someone's pain is in a sense easy. It still doesn't necessarily mean that you have that genuine connection of a chaver. Came to the levaya. Where were you when he was alive? And he's dead, you came. Where were you when he was alive?
Why is it easier levaya?
Because it's very easy to feel a nebach for someone. So I feel nebach for him. It's nebach for him. So no. Chas v'shalom, a person. Yankel has a friend that died, so he comes to the levaya. It's his friend. He does everything for the levaya. Seeing Milas Chaveroi, Farginen Yenem, like we say in Yiddish, to be happy for the other person, that's already a whole different level of a chaver. And that's what it means. And that's going to be the level of Knei lecha. And that we have to understand how that happens. But Farginen Yanem, Lahakir b'Milas Chaveroi, and not that it should cause jealousy, but rather that the Mailas Chaveri should actually be a foundation to the Chaver. That's already a Chaver. And that is what a Chaver is, but at the same time, how does that happen? What makes such a deep level of connection to the extent that I can be makir b'mailos chaveri, that I can see his simcha and be happy for him, even if I don't have that simcha. You know, so many people, friendships break up because the other person has a mile that I don't have, so I can't even face them and see how they're doing so much better than I am. I can't. I'd rather him be a nabach. And I can krechts with him and ach with him and avei with him, but I can't. How does a person have lahakir b'mailas chaveroi? And that's the prerequisite for a chaver. Says the Rebbe writes in many mechtavim that the difficulty in finding a chaver, writes it to Kurul, can't find a chaver. I didn't quote all the letters. I put together 8 letters. We'll see which letters I put. But I searched under certain criteria, a bunch of different letters. I'll show you later. It's kamayim apanim I searched under. But the Rebbe writes in one of the letters, why can't you find a chaver? Because she can't allow herself lahakir b'mayla. She can't see. She's always looking what the other person does. She cannot appreciate the mile of someone else. What allows a person lahakir b'maylas chavere? Oh, so what allows a person to make a chav? It's going to be a kinyan. I'll explain it with a gleich vertel. There was once a store. There was once a store that had a big sign: everything for free, everything must go. With the small letters in the bottom, if interested. Say that Yidla comes inside the store, and the Yidla packs up a bunch of wares and puts it into a wagon.
Sounds like a Yidla.
It says for free. He comes to the cash register, and the cash register says you have to pay. So Shakrin, you wrote for free. If interested, interested. If you're interested, then pay. Interest. Really being interested in someone doesn't happen automatically. You have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. How do you pay in a chaverschaft? What do you pay? What does it mean to pay? So there's a bunch of stories of Friedrich Rebbe that he brings out what it means a chaver. Beautiful how he brings it out, and then we'll see what does it mean a real chaver? Where does it come from? It's the opposite of what we tend to look at a chaver as. Few stories that brings out. He says the Friedrich Rebbe has a bunch of pizgum. He has these pizgumim. So he has a line. The Rebbe Rashab writes, is talking to the Friedrich Rebbe. So he tells the Friedrich Rebbe, "As gedaven taint, as gelern taint." Aber hebst nicht getan a teva for him. He says, you learn today, you daven today. But if you didn't do a favor for someone, for another yid, it's a truk in the talk. Wait 1 second. Friedrich Rebbe writes, a person has to wait every day, spend 30 minutes and think, who can I help out today? Stop, think. Not an extension of self. Who can I simply help out? Friedrich Rebbe writes, a person can think chassidus 5 hours a day for 5 days a week. All to develop a geschmack, to enjoy, just like you enjoy closing a good deal, just like you enjoy a good steak, you push it enjoy. Geschmack haben, Geschmack tana teva nachayid. A geschmack in doing a favor for another person. Kinyan means developing, letting go. It demands of you. Kinyan, what's a kinyan? There's a currency to buy. You have to use money, which you sweat, and your blood, that you put on the line, and that's how you buy something. To acquire a friend, you've got to put your sweat and blood on the line and acquire it through letting go and thinking about them 100%. Tana teva fayena means I'm stopping. What can I do for that? Person walks into the room, they see a bunch of people. Who can I help? What can I do? That, the Rebbe writes in another letter, to a person, we're going to see this letter soon. This says, the Rebbe, I'm going to show you, let me show you the first letter. So let me show you the first letter, and the letter, this is a note. We'll soon see, let's soon see where this applies in life and how this is. But this is the prerequisite to have a chaver. The first thing you need to do is think about the other person. So this is a letter by the Rav. The Rav writes to the Rebbe, he writes, the best way to see things is how the Rebbe applies it in life. The Rebbe answers specific questions to specific people who are going through specific challenges in Chaverschaft, and let's see how the Rebbe takes these klalim and applies it in life. So before I read it, let me tell you outside. There's a Rav, he has a problem with his kehillah. Very typical. So he writes to the Rebbe and he claims the reason why the kehillah doesn't listen to him is because he's very machmer and he's a big Rav and he demands Yiddishkeit. Says the Rebbe to him 2 points. Number one, did you ever go around in the kehillah to do a teva gashmis for someone in your community that has nothing to do with Torah mitzvahs? Mm-hmm. Did you ever do that? Try that. Your kehillah has to feel like you care for them. For their inyanim pratim. And then they'll listen to you for other things. You want a chaver? Kamayim haponim elaponim. Water is a mirror of yourself. The face you put into it is a face it's going to give back. What was the face you gave your kehillah? Were you 100% interested in them? Show that by doing a teva gashmis for them. Let go of yourself and be there for them. Even in parentheses he writes, even if it's not v'hafta l'reacha kamoicha meduyik kamoicha, but just do the favor for them the way they want it. And then you'll see how they respond differently. In other words, the Rebbe is telling him it's your fault. You're not there for them. Then the Rebbe writes even more than that. He says, you're saying you're machmir, and that's why you're not there for them. He says he's machmir because he doesn't during svida, and during svida doesn't shave his beard, so they feel like maybe he's too of a chomer dikarav. He says the reason they don't like you is because Americans don't like pshadas. They like authentic people. And they see you shave during the week. And that's what they don't like. They might not tell it to you, but they resent that you're a pshadistic guy.
What do you mean shave during the week?
He shaves his beard.
But what
he was saying that during Svira he doesn't shave. And that's why they don't like him, because he's like too machmir.
Oh, but what about...
So the Rebbe writes to him the other way around. They respect authenticity. They dislike and they resent the fact that you're not authentic. This is the letter.
But during the week,
forget about this. The Sfira is good. During the week is where they resent you. They want to see the reason why I quoted the letters for the first part. Yeah. The first part, which is what? You want to connect to someone? Let go. Think about his inyonim gashmim. Think about Tana Teva. Stop 30 minutes a day. Think, was kann ich tun? What can I do to do a favor for the other? A friend is not an extension. A friend is the minute I stop and think about them. Wow, I'm so happy for you. You have an amazing mila. That's great. I'm tuned into that person. That's kinyan. Kinyan means I'm putting myself to the side. It's blood. I have to let go. I have to let go of something to acquire friendship. It's not a matana that comes at me. It's something that I have to consciously let go to acquire it. There's something that I have to do to acquire it. That's the effort that I have to do. That's the letter over here. Read it inside, just to add if you see it inside. I highlighted the main part. I know it's not part of Rabbanis, but they want to see you're not just the Rav that's there for the Rav, which is basically they're serving your purpose. They want to see that you're serving them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to see, yeah?
I want to share a little story that this reminds me of. One time I was in a store in Kingston, and I was with the stroller and my kids, and so I told my kids, "Bitte öffne die Tür, open the door for me, because we're going out of the store." And Rabbi Levi Gorelick was standing near the door, so he started to open the door. I said, "No, I didn't mean you, I'm not asking the rabbi to open the door for me." And I said, I meant my kids. He says, yeah, but I also have a mitzvah, Azev Tazev Imai. And I was so, I have not forgotten this story. It was very, very, moved by that.
Hebrew you just said?
To
help someone who's overwhelmed with a lot of things.
So I was just very,
Beautiful.
yeah.
That's a real Rav.
Person who wants to...
Real person. It's a real person. A real person is there. Not there.
Could have walked by without doing anything. And
could have ignored it.
Thought of it. I wouldn't have expect. You wouldn't expect them. I asked my kids. But it was just
beautiful. So that's the first point. That's the first letter over here, and then the Rebbe writes afterwards. Why don't they respect you? Because they question you. They suspect you. They don't authentically look at you as a Rav because they see you are a compromised guy. That's the first letter that I wanted to show. Let's go now to the next part. what do we have here? Point number one. There's going to be 5 points that I want to share that are going to bring us eventually to what a chaver is and kavai papanim alapanim. First point we see over here, the next that will be for later. Let's put it to the side. First point we see over here in Kanei Lecha Chaver. What's a chaver? A chaver is not they're helping me, they're doing something for me. A chaver is not just feeling pain. A chaver is being there for you. They see your maila. They're happy for you. That comes from an approach of kinyan. What's the approach of kinyan? Being able to let go. Thinking purely for someone else. It's not an extension of the things I seek in life. I have a great car and I have a great friend. No! It's not a great car and great friend. Great car is convenience. It's an amenity of life. Great house, comfortable house is an amenity of life. A friend is not for you. You're there for them. That's a friend. You put yourself to the side for them. Then you can see them who they are, and you're happy for them, and you see their maila, and that's what. Why not? You see their maila. Because it was never, it's how you approach it from the beginning to how you'll see it. You see your kehila. Oh, they have to listen to me. I'm the authority. No. You're there for, you care for them. What's going on in your pratistika life? How are your children? You walk into a room. How do you look at a person? As an object? Or you look at the person, you taka see the other. When you see the other person as a whole, suddenly the maila becomes the yisoid for how you look at the friendship. Now, there's a letter of another letter of the Rebbe to a Gabbai in a shul. I didn't bring it over here. The Rebbe writes to the Gabbai of the shul. The Gabbai says again, Sichsuch, the shul, the Gabbai. Gabbais have a lot of times problems in the shul. The Gabbai is a manager of the shul. So the Rebbe writes again, you go into the shul, do you say Shalom Aleichem? Do you look at, I'm doing my job. Do you show that you have the decency to look at the individual? Again, the same Nakuda. Look at the other person as a separate person. Now, it's an attitude that such a person, the approach of that Rav will be felt in the whole shul, even when he doesn't speak. I'll give you a story to illustrate this. This approach that the Rav is ichbat, he cares, is felt in the kihila, even without him saying a word. I'll give you a story that illustrates, a beautiful story. In Eretz Yisrael, Tachana Mekazit, there's a Duchan Tfilin, two different stands. There's a Lubavitcher. I said the story before, right?
Say it again.
Say it again. But you already know my story. But this story is mamish negeya to this. It's mamish negeya to this. So the story is actually with Rabbi Lefkivker. I've said the name. Rabbi Lefkivker's father had a Duchan Tfilin, Tachana Mekazit, and there was another not Lubavitcher who had another Duchan, which is a very amazing station to put on.
Okay.
Israel, they have a little stand and a tefillah, and everybody comes, puts on tefillah. So there's a kibbutznik that walks by, and the kibbutznik walks by, he goes over to the Nat Lubavitch, and he gives him, he told him what's on his mind. He told him a little bit mit chutzpah. So the Rabbi Lefkivker saw that approach, so he backed off. He's not going to start off with this guy. He realized, when the guy comes up, pulls up his hands, and put on tefillin, which is my high. This is very simple. He says, I walked by the booth of the Nat Lubavitch and I realized, even without a person saying something, you can see their approach. I realized he's looking to get more brownie points.
Numbers.
He's looking to get a bigger Gan Eden. I'm not going to be there to serve him. I'm not his puppet. Go find your carbon. That's like the Rav of the shul, same thing. I walked over by your booth and I realized you're pashat interested in me. The approach of a person is felt kamaim upon him without even verbalizing it. The approach is felt. We're going to see later, I'll say it now, once we mention this, that ever writes to a teacher in a classroom, beautiful line. The teacher, I'll show this to you later, I had in mind to show the letter later, but it came up right now, so I'll just mention it now. So the teacher writes a duch to the Rebbe about what's going on in the classroom. So the Rebbe writes, the fact that you care so much about the Talmidim is an amazing thing, keep it up. And then this gufa that you're writing will in itself awaken in the Talmidim a deeper appreciation, a deeper thirst for learning, because kamayim apanam. In other words, like this. The mere fact that the teacher is writing to the Rebbe shows his deep sense of caring to the Talmidim. That approach has an immediate effect to the Talmidim, and it has an impact. We'll see later how that works. When a person thinks of someone else, the other person feels it. And they're going to reciprocate and feel that you feel for them and grow wherever they be. Just like the Rav scenario, just like the Duchan scenario. It's not words that make the growth, but it's the attitude of the individual, even without words. And we'll see later how that plays out. This is actually going to be the depth of what kamayim apanim al apanim means. Kamayim apanim means I'm sitting in my room and my feeling and my approach of how I feel for the other person, that's going to dictate the whole discourse of the interaction. When I walk into the classroom, it's not what I say in the class. It's not how, it's all about how I felt about them before I walked in.
So it's intent.
Intent, but not intent as in I'm thinking about something. Intent as in my approach. Intent as in my mindset. Intent as how I think about them. The fact that you wrote to me a letter about them, that means you really care about them. You didn't only write about your sister is sick. You wrote about your Talmidim, what they need. That in itself will awaken a thirst and will reciprocate a love of the Talmidim to you.
Right.
That in itself. We'll see that later. So again, so the first point is the genuine outreach of goodwill of an individual. It's not an amenity, a chaver. A chaver is a sacrifice. It's a kinyan. It's blood and sweat that you put on the table to be kind to someone. You have to let go of yourself and actually seek out a tov for someone else. That is the yesod of the Talmud. So we only did the first letter so far, and now we're up to the second letter. Now this leads to the second point. Now that we know what a chaver is, what is a chaver? A person who seeks out someone else 100%. Now we can understand what happens when you connect to that person. Here's a beautiful thing. When the two people connect, you see, it says in Ayem Yem, person is makar mailas atzmoi and chesroinas atzmoi. That's what it says about a chassid. Chassid should know it's mail and it's chesar. That's what it says in Ayem Yem. And there's a lot of discussion on this. What does it mean, mail and chesarn? But here's a beautiful thing. When a person has a real friendship, you don't look at the chesroinus of the friend as a demotivator of connecting to them. But rather, the two of you work together to help each other out. The chesroinus of both of us become the burden of both of us. And we both help each other out to grow. It becomes journey time, not judging time. When you really connect to someone, it becomes a journey. Oh, two nefesh alakis with one nefesh Bahamas is an expression of a game, which means to say like this. To care for someone else doesn't come from the nefesh Bahamas. Nefesh Bahamas wants to have its own steak. He's not going to look out for someone else's steak. That's not nefesh Bahamas, right? To care for someone else, suddenly you have extra. So the Rebbe Shabbat has three components that happen. When you connect to someone else and you see their maila, so number one, the chisaron that the other person has, because you connected to someone else, they're able to point out chisaronis you don't see. Because you both now connect, because you both now connected, and you saw his maila. So he now sees you and you connected and you feel for each other. The Rav sees the maila of the community feels for him. Oh, you really care for me. So now they're open to hear about their chesroinus. And the Rav, if he's open, will be open to hear about it. Maybe he's not doing so well in serving the community. Maybe there's something that he needs help in, whatever it may be, the management skill, whatever it may be. But because he was able to see the other 100%, the other one reciprocates and sees him 100%, so the chesroinus over here don't kill the relationship. I have a gleichwertel that brings this out. Gleichwertel. Could be I also said this it's like a joke. Could be I also said it, but it's apropos over here. There were once these two brothers. Remember the story? Once these two brothers, a rich man and a poor man. And the rich man had no children, and the poor man had a few children. So the rich man says to the poor man, let's make a deal. You give me one of your children. You have Yankel, Avram Yitzchak, Yaakov, Reuben, Shimon, Levi, and you have Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Give me one of them. And I'll give you $1 million. Wasn't this good? Go through them. So he's going through them with a Ma'aleh Chesaron of each one. Which one should he give? Which one should he not? Right? The judge, Ma'aleh Chesaron, calls his brother before the deal is supposed to be made the day before. He says the deal is over. He says, my hi, we made a deal. A deal is a deal. It's a deal. You can't do that. He says, you don't understand. Till now, I thought I had 9 children. I had Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. But now I realize I only have one Rivka. I only have one Rachel. I can't give you my only child. the switch of mind from people being a collection of milas and chesroinus to each individual being a unique individual that's my baby, that's my person that is key in a friendship. And suddenly the chesroinus are not chesroinus that decrease value or increase value. They're just missing something that is a journey that we're going to help them out in their journey. It's a whole different look. The value is not a value that increases value. It's a value because it's a value, because it's a value, because it's my baby. That's why it's a value. It's not a value because of any specific thing that can take away or go away. The mila and chesaron over here is not a commodity. It's an intrinsic mila. And then the chesaronas suddenly don't become an impediment to relationship. The chesaronas are able to be shared. And that is the consequence of real chaver. Real chaver, the real ultimate chaver, is someone who, the lashon is, they share nigei levovei zelazeh. They're able to share their deep areas in their heart, not just pain, not kvetching, areas they have to fix, areas they're struggling with. And they're not embarrassed or intimidated or invalidated by sharing it with their friend. Their friend doesn't look down at them that they're sharing this with their friend because their friend is also on a journey. They're together on a journey. This was the Mittel Rebbe says this was his thing. As zwei Chassidim seien sich, they meet together. It's a beautiful thing. That's the Chaver Shabt of a Chassid. I'm going to help you in your struggle. You help me in my struggle. I don't decrease value. I don't increase value. There was never any specific value to increase or decrease. I specifically looked at you as an individual. Done.
Wow.
That's the ultimate chaver. And so let's go through them. The first level, the simple level, is okay, chaver helps me, does something for me. Okay, it's important, you got to do a favor for someone. They say, give a sandwich to someone, let him eat if he's hungry. I don't care what your emotion, what your intention is, as long as he's hungry and he ate, is good. Okay, that's the first level. Fine. You can't say because of your intention, you're not going to give a sandwich. But that's not what a chaver is. It could be it's a ma'isa toiv, it's not a chaver. Another level of a chaver we discussed is feeling the pain. That takes something to feel pain. Some people ignore it. Some people walk down the street, they see people, someone fall, they ignore it. Some people don't, right? Then we talk about real chaver is lahakar mailas chaver. Farginen yenem. To see the other person and be happy for them needs you to let go and see tevis for tevis. See the other as an other. The duchan tefillin, the rub with the community. These were examples where the person has to let go and simply don't look at the chaver as an extension of self. My car, house, great support system that supports me. Let go. You be there for them. That's real. Then you won't be intimidated to share your chesroinus. If you have that kind of friendship that you're able to let go and see milas chaveri, the chesroinus don't become chesroinus that impede a friendship, but the chesroinus are actually fuel for the friendship because you're able to both build on each other. The support system that's now built is one that the chesroinus are actually fuel for the friendship. You help me, I help you, and the fact that I'm helping you doesn't take. I'm not embarrassed. You're not embarrassed. We're both on the journey together. That is the ultimate level of Bachaber. Good. So we have now 3 levels. Now I want to show you 2 letters.
They're going to work out a Mashpia and Kabbalah.
This is the Friedrich writes. I was looking for this. I didn't have a marker for this, but I found now that marker in the Friedrich. I didn't actually bring this letter. He writes, there's too many letters to bring. He writes that Kenei Lecha Chaver allows a person to get to know themselves good enough to have a proper Aseh Lecha Rav. Which means, in my words, it means it's like this.
So the Chaver could be a Mashpia.
No. I'll explain like this. People today spin the Rav around their fingers. They tell them a problem that never happened, and a solution for a problem that never happened, and then they quote the Rav, right? Basically, the Rav is another person who, it's another amenity to fix the way I want it to be fixed.
Right. They say it the way they ask it, the way they want it.
Allows you to be nigei levavo, allows you to get to know yourself honestly. 3 areas. Number 1, I don't really see my flaws. So a real chaver will pat me on the back. No. He's going to tell me, this is an area you really need help with. This is where you need to ask your Rav for. And he's going to support you enough to go to the Rav and get the help from the Rav. But you don't see it. So that's the first level that a chaver helps in the area of finding help. The second level, he says, the mere fact that you're verbalizing it to the chaver, you're mischaret. Dibur, when you say something, you feel more for it. So if it's just a thought in your head, yeah, I know I have problems. Everybody thinks that in their head. But when you're verbalizing to your friend is making you verbalize it, you feel it more, you're mischaret more, you have more of a change. And then the talking together really facilitates more eitzes that you would never think of. And then bottom line is now you can go to the Rav. Now you are more aware of yourself to have the real self go to the Rav. So he writes Knei Lecha Chaver before is actually, and the Rebbe it's together. It allows you to have a real Rav. The Rebbe, so I was thinking like, why doesn't the Rebbe talk about Knei Lecha Chaver? And I saw a few letters. The Rebbe writes Asei Lecha Rav, Asei Lecha Rav. K'muven chutz mi Knei Lecha Chaver. Chutz ma'atzayir sheknei K'muven chutz ma'atzayir sheknei Lecha Chaver. K'muven, like K'muven. The Rifka writes all about it. The Rifka writes a lot about it. There's tons of letters. Maybe next time I'll show you the letters. Beautiful letters. How he writes the importance of the Knei Lecha Chaver. The Mittel Rebbe was what I mentioned before of two nefshel kiswa nefshel hamis. It's full of it. Chassidim are known for chaverschaft, for friendship. So the chaver is a support system, but not necessarily someone higher than you that can tell you what you need. He makes you aware of yourself.
Isn't that what a Fabrengen is?
A Fabrengen is, right? And then you can, but then a Seilach Harav is another person who tells you, a Seilach Harav, he can tell you, right? But you're not aware of yourself. You raise the kapman that a lot of times. You're calling him. It's like people call a doctor to get a heter to do something. Doctor, don't tell me. I need a prescription. Get it me. Get me somehow to get me that prescription. I'm not asking you of your opinion. Just give it to me. Sign off on it.
Right.
So that's okay. Good. So that's negate that. Now I want to show you two letters. How the Rebbe takes us negate Shalom Bayis. Very nice letters. This nekud of chesroinus and milas. So he writes over here two letters. One letter in Yiddish and one letter in Hebrew. This whole idea of chesroinus and milas. Basically, what the Rebbe is saying. First, I'll say it outside, then inside. Basically, what the Rebbe, so you find a lot of times the Rebbe says this letter is a letter of the first few years after a chasna to an individual. So the Rebbe writes to them. You see, practically speaking, that a lot of times this is a challenge. So the Rebbe writes, let me just translate the words and try to understand what it means. Don't pay attention to chesroinus, and mainly look more for the good things. I mean, what does that mean? Ignore something? If it bothers me, it bothers me. What does that mean? Don't pay attention. What the Rebbe over here is saying, and you'll see the next letters also, the approach to the Yankel and Beryl and Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah should stop being one of how valuable are you for me? How much chesroinus do you have? How much milas? So every day I'm judging how valuable you are. Change the approach to I only have one Yankel, I only have one Beryl. Change the approach and the focus. In other words, the focus of Mila and Chesron is not a focus of increase or decrease value. It's a focus of Mila in the sense of indispensable value. Have that approach, and the Chesaron won't so much play. It won't play because you're not looking as the person. In other words, you before were deciding who should you marry. Why is it so hard in the first year of marriage? Because before you were in a judging scenario. You didn't have people in front of you who was a person. Is this person good or not? Because you're used to this kind of, which one should I give up for adoption? That's what you're essentially looking. But now you're not in that scenario. Now you've got to change the mode and the focus to this is my only child. You look at it that way. The chesroinus won't play. The chesroinus won't sich ausgleichen. They're gonna slowly go away. Why? It doesn't just disappear. It disappears if you allow yourself to change your mode. The kehila doesn't look at you the same way once you suddenly care for them. The Rebbe is telling the person's attitude to change. And then the chesroinus can sich ausgleichen. He's not telling you, close your eyes. That's not what he's telling you. He's telling you, open your eyes and open your mind and look at it differently. It's a tricky thing because sometimes people say, I should just ignore a chesar. That's not what he's telling you. He's telling you to appreciate the mila in a different way. Don't look at the mila as check. So there's 3 miles. It's not what it is. Your child is not up for adoption. So just change the way you look at that child. That's what he's saying. So there's letter over here, which is letter Samach Beis. Nicht legen kein Acht. Of the Nicht-Einstimmung, don't pay attention. What does it mean, don't pay attention? It means to change attitude. And then, mesetzt vor jener von sein Seite mit das Gute, only look at the good. And als Giche steht, then it's sich ausgleichen. And he says, and he adds one more line, he says, he's obviously talking to the man over here. The second letter. The second letter over here, page Samach Beis. You see on the top Samach Beis.
This Samach Beis?
Yeah. Samach Beis. The second letter, what do you have over there? I'm just reading the underlined parts. On the second, the one before that. Before that. The second page, second letter on your booklet. There you go, that letter. What does she have there? She has this one?
That's Samach Beis. Someone wrote it.
Okay, so give her this one. Here. Okay, good. So he writes over here, yeah. So Kamayim Apanim Alapanim, he also writes that once you're going to have that approach, she will automatically feel that and have that approach to you. And that's how the bond of a connection starts. The Rebbe writes another line, he says, Bifrat, that you're talking about Ishvi Ishtoi, and Chazal say, Isha dim asa metzuya. So you have to be very sensitive. And you have to approach her in the right way. And it's totally on your approach for her to reciprocate in the right way. Stop judging Milas and Chesroinus and start connecting the same, I like the marshal of the $1 million in a child. That gives it out in a nice way, right? So that's this letter. Another letter we have.
And what does it have to say about that the woman is easy to tears?
Meaning to say she's sensitive. Oh, it's double-sided. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Oh, so then. Oh, okay. Oh, so the other one is right before that. Oh, that's why. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you have the original. So the other one, the other side is the Hebrew one for the Shalom Bayis. Yeah? The one right before that is the Hebrew one.
So here's another one.
You see it? The other one before that, page Shinai and Gimel. Yeah. Again, in the highlighted, he says, "Hishtadlus ba'kifin v'lei ba'ofin yashar me'ila yoyser chanir muchrish." When it comes to facilitating, so the best thing is not to approach someone face value as you're judging them. Okay, that's one nekuda.
What does ba'kifin mean?
To come through a third party or through a backwards channel. Yeah, don't. But then he says another one. Loi lahagdil achalukideis. What does it mean? Again, the same thing. Loi losen leiv lahem. What does it mean? What do you mean? Don't pay attention to it. It's in my face. Or akapanim lahaktinam. At least make it. What do you mean? Make it smaller. It bothers me. So he says kamayim apanim alapanim. What's kamayim apanim alapanim? Kamayim apanim alapanim means stop. Pay attention to this. When you look into the water, you don't see just the face. You see the lines in the face. You see the motions of the face. So the Chassidus is explaining the same thing with the person's heart. If you listen to a tape, you can sometimes not hear the same message as when you see a person. A person says, "I'm sorry." Imagine they record it and send it to you. You heard them sorry. No, I want to see your face when you say that I'm sorry.
Like you
Why do you want
little kids, you see, you say,
Like
look at
texting, you
him
don't
and
get
say,
Texting, you don't see the emotion behind it. That's the problem with texting. Same kuna. So when a person says, "I'm sorry," what do you see? You don't see the words. You see the tavi ponim. Suras haponim. The einai. Machorea, right? So it says water captures that. So it says kein lev ha'adam. Another person, the heart, doesn't only capture your words, it captures your heart. It captures your emotion. Says the Rebbe to the person, I'm not going to tell you a technique what to say. I'm going to tell you change your heart, change your attitude. You'll change your attitude, she'll feel that, and she will reciprocate. Or the other way around, vice versa. The Rav, change your attitude to the Kihila. Think about the things that you think about their thing, they will reciprocate. The Gabbai, they will reciprocate. The Duchan Trilin, they will reciprocate. It's not about words, it's about the heart itself. Kamayim apanim alapanim. That's the yisoid of kamayim apanim alapanim. Yeah, I can cause change in the other person by me internally actually feeling it. I walk in, that person feels it.
So if they aren't receiving, like if you want to help someone and they're not responding to it, it could mean that it's not coming from the right.
Correct. That's what kamayim apanim. Usually we say kamayim apanim alapanim. We say if I come to someone, someone's upset at me. You're upset, I'm going to be upset. You go to someone, you smile at them, they smile back. You make a upset face, they're going to be upset. So we say the other way around. You know why they're upset? Because look back at yourself. How do you inside feel about it? The Rav was upset. Oh, their fault. No, stop. Do you really have them in your heart? When a person does that, then it changes. We're going to get to those two more points I want to address. We'll see that soon. Usually people say, well, why should I be the one to change? That I'm going to address that in a second.
What if someone is trying to point something out to you about your concerns and you're not comfortable with it? Does that mean that they're not coming from a good place, or you're just insecure or something?
Well, if a person brings out chesreinus to me and I'm upset, well, it means both. Well,
Could be both, right?
It could be both, but I would take it as myself.
Right.
Because Kamayim Apanim starts with me. Why am I upset?
Sure.
It's me. The Rav was upset. Why was he upset? They're making faces at me. They're talking about fault. They probably were at fault.
Right.
But the Rebbe asked him a question. How do you feel about that person? I'm going to get to that soon. Let me say it now. So the Rebbe is like this. The person asked the Rebbe, he says, well, why should I be the first one to start? The person is so mean, a person is so, doesn't deserve it, a person is saying, and that's probably why I'm upset him when he's telling my mechasor, I'm upset him. Why? Because who is he? I don't feel like he's, and ich kein mensch, as a chazer. So now you're going to tell me to be a mensch, right? So I don't want to hear from, this is like this. I'm going to use the Lashon whatever, then I use my words. He says, Avos Yisrael is an amazing mitzvah. So what are you asking? Who should start first? So you have the schus to start first. What's he saying? Let me put it in simple words. I'll say it like this instead of person is mean to me, slaps me in the street, so I'm upset at him. Next time I see an opportunity to help him, he needs to shovel his snow in front. I'm not going to shovel the snow. Who do you think? Look what you did to me yesterday, right? That's the automatic reaction. Comes along, citizens like this. Come on, it's like this. When I'm thinking in my head, I don't want to shovel the snow for you, right? Why am I thinking that? Because he was a chazer that he hit me. I'm the same chazer. And I'll explain to you why. I don't know what it means to do a favor for someone, period. I only know what it means to get what I want in life. Reciprocate, tit for tat, right? Essentially, what am I saying? I'm saying the only reason I would ever shovel the snow is if you do it for me. If I do it for me, I'm not going to do it for you. That means I don't know what it means to do a favor for someone, period. I don't know what it means to do a good thing, lishma. Let me play this. I was thinking about this and I actually played it out in life. Children a lot of times have a problem. I did this with my 7-year-old. What did I do? She has a problem all the time when the other one has a job. So the other one doesn't do the job. Why should I do my job? Right? This is a simple, a similar thing, right? So I thought of this nekuda that ever writes, and I did it. I thought nekuda was like this. You can explain this. So I asked her, I sat her down. After I learned this, I sat her down. I said to her, when you say Tehillim, and you have a race who says more Tehillim, right? You're not going to say, I said more Tehillim, you can't also say Tehillim. You're hopping around more and more Tehillim. You're not going to say, oh, she's not saying Tehillim. I'm not going to say it, because it's a good thing, and you're getting more and more mitzvahs, more Tehillim, and actually it's like a contest. How much Tehillim is it? I thought like this. When you clean and she doesn't clean, you're getting a bigger mitzvah. Because now you're not cleaning because she's cleaning. You're cleaning simply because it's a mitzvah to clean.
Wow.
So this is like an amazing mitzvah you're getting, and she doesn't even get it. We're going to make a chart. It's going to be between me and you. No one's going to know about it. You can't even tell her, and she can't even know about it. Because it's lishma. You have to do it for the sake of doing good things. You have to learn to do good things for the sake. And this is going to be your checklist that you're going to make. Every day you make a check. If you cleaned and she didn't clean, you get an extra mitzvah. But only if you don't cry about it. If you cry about it and you complain about it, it means you didn't really do it for the sake of doing it.
What kind of check is it?
A check and a list. And after the check, you can take it. We'll send it to the oil. We'll go to the oil. It's between you.
What kind of check to differentiate between?
It only has to be a time when the other one doesn't do it and you do it. So it's a mitzvah lishma. It's not a charge.
So that's when she gets that.
Yeah,
check.
that's a special. She took it. Wow, she has a new challenge to do now. She's not going to kvetch about it because she. It's like she got a real estate deal. It's like she got something to do. No, but this nekuda of lishma. But the same thing with the shoveling. I'm only going to do it if you do it, right? I won't shovel you because you hit me yesterday. So you don't even know what it means to shovel for a person for the snow. So you don't know what it means if a person falls down the street to pick them up. Imagine a Hatzolah call. Oh, yesterday in shul you coughed at me. I'm not going to go for a Hatzolah call for you. I don't know. Then you don't know what it means a Hatzolah call, right? So that says that about the same thing. Approach the friction. You now have an opportunity of Ahavas Yisrael. Now, how do you change the look on the other person? It's an amazing look. So now suddenly you look at the other person, and you can change him that way. You can change the kibbutznik that way. He walks by and he feels, you can change the kehila that way. What? Sorry?
Did it affect your other child? She
doesn't know about it. She doesn't know.
Because she's cleaning anyway.
The Viola not. I didn't go through. She's older. She's going through. She's 7. I didn't go through. She has the chidon now. She's. Go.
7?
9. The 9-year-old is chidon. The 7-year-old is cleaning. But
she's getting the mitzvah.
The 9-year-old is lucky done.
In every family, you have the same problem.
Yeah.
But the nekuda, and also she's more jealous. Everyone's less jealous. Everybody has a different teva. She's more jealous.
I was just curious to see that if she cleaned without complaining, if she decided to join in.
It didn't happen long enough. Let's see what happens. I don't know.
You keep us posted.
We'll see. But the nekuda that I took out of it is the ability to see a good act for the sake of a good act is b'teva kol adam. If we take away the confusion, it's b'teva kol adam. And this is kamayim upon it. When you look at the person and you look at them genuinely, they reciprocate that way. You're able to awaken this, and no matter where it is. That's the Nakud. I'm going to show you a letter, whatever brings us.
Only for a person with an actual kiss, or it's for any kind of
So the Kamayim upon him is B'teva Kol Adam. B'teva Kol Adam. Doesn't say B'teva Kol Yehudi. A Yid has an added advantage. We have a nefesh. There's even a lashon, even B'teva Nefesh Bahamas. Because this is simply Teva of a person. Kamayim upon him is the Teva of a person. Human. Adam. It's added of Nefesh Elokis because Nefesh Elokis wants to do more for, but that's a separate thing. This is Kamayim upon him is Teva of a person. When you think about another person, you're ma'oder than that person's thing. The way your lev is about that person, you'll see. The way you really feel about the person, that's how the person's going to reciprocate. Which is a fascinating thing. So that's the nekuda when it comes to avodas Hashem. When it comes to avodas Hashem, what was the nigel of avodah that they're sharing? There's an added advantage of nefesh elokis. There's an added advantage. But the added advantage, but the idea of my heart is reciprocating your heart, that's a teva of an individual. Where am I up to? So we have the two letters of Shalom Bayis. The next letter we have is this mitzvah of the Schus of Avos Yisrael. Shinun Ches. I just told it to you outside. Right? Shinun Ches.
Yes.
Shinun Ches. You have it? This is why I just told it to you outside.
Yes.
So here an individual writes to the Rebbe B'Sudas Tevis. He actually had an issue before, and now things are getting better. So the Rebbe asks him a question. Says, "How come you never told me that things got better? You should, I'm gonna feel so good about it." Mitzvah Avos Yisrael. The Rebbe talking about himself.
Right.
Especially you told me the Masa Lifnei before the operation. Now you tell me you should have. It's Avos Yisrael. You should have shared with me the good news. Okay, that's the first nikud. Second nikud, he writes, and there was obviously a machlekes there. So he says, "Oh, this is also a problem. You don't have Avos Yisrael." And he writes, and we all know the famous haftocha kamayim hapanim al hapanim. Ein hakasuf mechalek mi larishoyna mishana liboy. It doesn't make a difference. This answers your question. Someone comes to me, it makes no difference who's first. Someone has to be first and start the chain of connection. No, you're not nice to me, so I'm not going to listen to you because you're not going to listen to me. It's an endless game. Start. You are. So you're going to say, but why me? Kol hakoydim zocha. Bichlal godol b'Torah of you don't have this huge opportunity in front of you of Avos Yisrael. You should be the first one to grab it. Especially since Avos Yisrael is a keli for Avos Hashem. Especially if you know what Avos Yisrael really. So the Rebbe is telling him, you start first and you should start looking at it as a great opportunity that came your way. Stop looking at grudges of the past and not allowing yourself to start. Look at an amazing opportunity that came your way. That's what the Rebbe writes over here. Okay, that's the idea. That's this letter. The next letter is a similar letter on the same note. Chavrusa that was having a hard time. You can go through it later. It's a long letter, but he says over here, the Chavrusa wanted to cut off ties, seams with his other friend. His other friend was not doing Torah mitzvahs, and he wasn't nice to him, so if he doesn't want to help him Torah mitzvahs, so Rebbe writes one line to him. He says, Torah mitzvahs is for your own benefit to help out that person. Stop looking at Torah mitzvahs as tit for tat. Again, stop doing things. If you're going, then I'm going to help you. Do it for the sake of it itself. Especially since Torah mitzvah is actually going to help you if you're... So again, this nikud over here is do it for the sake of itself. It's a long letter. He goes through the arichas of it. I highlighted it because it quotes everything. He goes into the point that you don't have friends. You know why? You're looking for friends. If you stop looking for friends and you focus on being hasmada, and they'll come after you. He writes this, they'll come after you. Again, this is really what we started off with. Don't look for amenities. You're looking for, you focus on being a good person. Then they'll see they'll come after you. So this is another whole letter about Chavrusa, how it plays out.
It plays out in just human relations, right?
Plays out in every relation. I brought the Chavrusa, Rav, Shalom Bayis. In every area, it plays out the same nakuda of what? If I develop that deep sense of connection, the other person will reciprocate automatically to me as well. This letter I like a lot. Next
But
letter.
sometimes it's harder to.
Just want to finish by 9:30.
Sometimes it's harder to get through, though. Some people are harder to get through. Like
But here's what the Rebbe says. It all depends on me. It's not depending on the other person. How real am I with my feeling for the other? The story with Talmidim is beautiful. Look at the story. This teacher just writes a duch to the Rebbe. I once heard from a teacher that he writes, when he goes to the pan, he writes down his Talmidim's names. He asks them for the names and the pans. And this is really what the Rebbe is saying. When you're so interested in your Talmidim to write a pan for them, that in itself helps the Talmidim be interested in you. It's an indication of where your mind lies. So the Rebbe doesn't clearly say, but he's saying that. He's saying, you're writing your Matzev Talmidim in your name. Uvavadei gam lahaba yamshich b'minig toiv zeh. Vahikir b'hashkocha p'kicha. It doesn't mean shkocha p'kicha in the sense of punishments. Shkocha p'kicha means in the sense of watching over them, caring for them. Shenoisev al nechitu tzadavar mitzad atzmai. Besides the fact that this is very important, zeh gufa ma'oirer eitzel atamidim lahafik ritzoyin hamashgiach aleim. How beautiful. The mere fact that you so much care for them, which you demonstrated here, and the fact that you wrote to me about them, that in itself is the biggest thing you can do to motivate. Everybody asks, what's the $1 million motivator you can do for children? That you care for them without even telling them anything. If you really in your heart care for their growth, that in itself is made of them.
What is pekicha?
Pekicha means that you care. Pashtas, it means the overlooking them. But over here, what it boils down to over here is not the
Care.
the caring, the outreach, the dedication, if you want
What
to use
does
the word.
lahafik mean?
Ah,
Lahafik.
they're going to now want to fulfill the Ratzon HaMashgiach, what you want from them. They're now, in other words, you're going to motivate them, to put it in simple English. By you reaching out to them in such a way, you motivate them.
Is the caring a natural emotion or a natural feeling, or you have to work on that?
Oh, you have to work in it. He says clearly. It doesn't happen automatically. The real level of friendship is a very difficult thing. It's kinyan. Kinyan, kinei lecha chaver is a difficult thing. It doesn't happen automatically. Kinei lecha chaver is an effort. It takes an effort to let go and actually think about the other person. So what do they need? What do they need right now? Like this, I quoted the Perek Rebbe says, a person should stop every day and think 30 minutes, who can I help? What can I do for someone today? The Rebbe Rashab tells the Perek Rebbe, if you didn't do a favor for someone, it's a truk in a talk. It's a dry day. It's a dry day. And in other words, you train yourself. Train yourself. He says the ultimate chassid, he writes there, is the one that has a gishmak in doing a favor for someone. Just like you have a gishmak in eating a good steak. You have a gishmak in cutting a good deal. You have a gishmak in helping someone. Just for the sake of helping someone. That, he says, he has a crazy lashon. It's a person going to chassidus 5 hours a day, 5 days in a row, all for one conclusion, to have a gishmak in doing a teiv and a chayit.
I think the gishmak is just that you feel so proud of yourself.
Well, if you have nothing out of it. Well, that's good. You can feel, proud? You can feel proud of yourself. That's okay. That's good. That's okay. That you're doing a good thing, that's okay.
So it's a good.
But the nekuda is that you seek it out. You walk into the room. You can. People walk into the room. A shoester sees shoes, right? A designer sees design. Somebody walk in the room and they sense right away this person needs help. I'm going to find a time to talk to them. I see something's bothering them. That's called seeking out a teva for another yid. That's called that you don't have to. It's your profession.
You
it's
spot
like
it.
You sensed it. That's what we're talking about. That takes effort. It doesn't happen automatically. And that's kamayim apanim al apanim. Person walks into class like that, kamayim apanim al apanim. And this teacher obviously had it, because if he wrote a pan about his students, he obviously had that. And the students felt it. Wow. So that. We just finished with the last one he says this actually helps with health. The last two letters, he writes over here a letter on the last page. So a person writes that he's having a hard time with health. And he was a mechanech. So he writes, Haba Talia. And he writes like this. He said, I'm going to read this. Mashakosov Oidus Matzah Briyusah. It's a beautiful letter. V'chein ha'koishi b'meleches ha'koidish b'chinuch. Haba Talia. Person's a teacher and he's having a hard time with health. He says they're both dependent. They're both one dependent on the other.
That's what
he says. If you're going to listen to my eitzah, yishtadol k'chol ha'yichaydus, do all your effort, liyishalat baruchay. Control your nervin, your nerves. But let's see what he tells you. Well, kabel kolan yanim b'chuzah. Calm down. Befrat kishiz boinin shakal b'ashgacha prat is recognized that everything that Yishta does is there's a purpose. You have a purpose in this world. Don't look at people around you as if they're looking to get you. That's what he writes. Don't look as if they're looking to get you. Even if there's a reason to it. In other words, they're taka bad people. So what are you going to do? What do you mean? They're really bad people. They're looking to get me. They actually did bad things. Says the Rebbe, they eitze kamayim aponim al aponim. Stop. You change the pattern. You'll change the way you think about them. Automatically, they will change the way they reciprocate to you, and you won't have what to be nervous about. And you'll then be a good, calm teacher. So it's all dependent on you. How powerful is that?
It's the Rebbe's trying to teach her this?
Yeah, he's into chinuch.
So what is
So your health, it's going to help your health. In other words, it's all dependent on you. You felt they're out to get you, and even if there's a yisoy to that, even if they actually did something that showed that they're out to get you, you be the one to stop. You be the one to change that pattern. Break the cycle, like we said before. The Torah doesn't say, "Hey, mishana mi machlet lo rishoina," and then they're going to reciprocate, and then you have taka brius bekashmius that you're taka going to feel calm.
What's ineha bahat leya?
It's one dependent on the other. Your brius is dependent on how you're a teacher. Obviously, during his teaching, he felt someone's out to get him, so he couldn't teach like a mensch, and he wasn't feeling good, and he was not being a mensch. So there was stop. You change the way you feel about that person, like we talked about until now. He only says one word, kamayim upon him. He doesn't explain what kamayim upon him is. But if you go through all the letters and you go through Perek Memvav inside, that's what he says. Mayim upon him means I start that change. Water is pure. Whatever you put into it is what you see. So you're looking at that person's heart, you see he's looking out to get you. Of course you're going to feel animosity. Stop. I don't care what he felt. You change it, he's going to change. The teacher cares, the student cares. The Rav cares, the student cares. The person who do the Chan Tefillin, the other person cares. Kamayim aponim al aponim is a powerful thing that actually helps Brias. The next letter brings out another point. Say Pekud of Brias Gashmis.
So the Rebbe is talking emotional and then physical.
Correct. The emotional health of the individual starts with his mind. Really mental. The Rebbe talks mental and emotional. Mental is the Kamayim aponim starts with the mental. My mental way, how I look at the other person, that goes to my emotional state of my emotions, right?
Incredible.
And that changes the person. That's what Rebbe is writing. That's what he's writing. That's what Kamayim Apanim is. Kamayim Apanim means it's my mental state that affects my emotional state, that in turn affects the emotional state of the people around me. It's a very powerful thing. It's incredible the power that we have in ourselves to affect the people around us, how they look. So suddenly I'm the one changing the whole factor around me. So I'm upset at someone. He did something to me. A kihila, a student, a classroom, a beinal leishta, whatever it may be. I change my approach. It's felt by the other, and their approach will change too. It's not a baby. It's not $1 million. It's a baby. It's my own baby. I can't. It's not up for adoption. I have to change my approach. My approach changes, the other person feels it. The child should feel like they're not $1 million, that they're not up for adoption. We always say it's not $1 million, right? They're not up for adoption, they should feel like. That's what they should feel. And then that's what a healthy child should feel. If a healthy child doesn't feel that way, it's ach and vei, right? Well, that's the way we should feel in every knei l'chachaver. To summarize, knei l'chachaver is the ability of a person to put themselves to the side and actually be there for the other person. No. Being there for the other person means I'm doing a teva for them. Once you do a teva for them and you can see them for who they are, then the chisroinus are not there as an impediment. They're actually fuel because we both share the chisroinus. They're not chisroinus as in decreasing or increasing. There's something missing. No, so there's a lot of things missing and we fill them up later. Seder. There's an indispensable value that you now put on whatever you have, which changes the whole picture. That's Kanei L'Chachaver, and that's Kamayim Apanim, which will help him. You should have a teva, and Neder, Venigla.
So, is there going to be another follow-up to this, or this is it?
You want to follow?